You're listening to Mind, Body, Home with your host, Sara Ann. All right. Today, we're going to talk about creating a calm and comfortable home environment. And this is important for a lot of reasons, but I will tell you what has inspired me to create this sort of list I'm going to talk about here in a minute. We've been in our home now about a week, and let me tell you, when I say my overwhelm level is at 100, it is like, oh my gosh, okay. I'm finding really quickly that this house lacks storage space. Therefore, I have a lot of boxes still because I have nowhere to put anything. There are closets, but the closets are really shallow. And it's so interesting. My husband and I were counting. This is our 8th home together. And that includes, rentals when we were dating. And, we've moved out of state a couple times. So we've moved total together into 8 homes. And it's funny, how much you still just don't pay attention to when you're purchasing a new home, or even, maybe a new rental. There's just things that don't stand out to you until you're in. And then you realize, God, it'd be nice to have this, or I wish we had this. And that is one of the things, when I was doing a lot of kitchen and bath design, I would have a lot of clients who maybe purchased a new home and the kitchen needed remodeling, and they wanted to jump into a remodeling project right away. And I always advised against that. And, that's obviously not the most profitable way to run a design business, but I always did really care more about the client's needs over my own. And I would ask them, are you sure you want to just jump into a renovation? Like, I always recommend at least 6 months living in the home, really understanding your home and what its needs are. Understanding how you move through your kitchen or your bath on a day-to-day basis is going to help you design a better suited kitchen. That's kind of going down a whole nother path. I don't even do kitchen and bath design anymore, but just for the sake of example, it's really important to be inside a space to understand what the needs are. And, you can certainly shop for a home, but you're just never going to realize what the needs are until you're in. And so lack of storage is definitely an issue here. And I'm also going through boxes and realizing how much stuff I'm still holding on to that I don't need. It's crazy to me because I have been in a state of decluttering since last summer. Once we found out we were moving, we decluttered so much, and I still have so much. It's wild to me. Anyway, today, I want to talk to you about creating that comfort, that calm at home. And I mentioned it's important for a lot of reasons, right? It's stress reducing. It improves our mental health, right? When we are at peace at home, we feel less anxiety, less overwhelm. It fosters this sense of safety and security, right? If we feel overwhelmed, our nervous system is triggered. And our nervous system directly relates to our safety and our security. So it allows us, when we feel safe at home, we're able to cope better when challenges come up. We experience better relationships when our house is calm, right? I've been very short with my husband and my children, and not because they're doing anything wrong, but just because I'm internally overwhelmed. And when my environment is chaotic, this is why I teach this work. This is why I have the Mind, Body, Home podcast, is because I understand that when we have a sense of calm and peace in our homes, we experience that in our life. We experience that in our relationships, not just with those we live with, but external relationships, maybe your employees, your coworkers, your friendships, your family. Overall, our relationships just benefit when we have a safe, comfortable environment. When our home is calm, we're also able to feel more creative. or more productive. A well-designed home environment, it boosts productivity, right? And creativity by reducing distractions, right? When there's clutter abound and there's boxes everywhere and things aren't in their place, our mind is tasking that instead of being focused on what we need to get done in our day. So when we are comfortable and at ease at home, we are more productive. We are more inspired and creative. So I want to share some ways in which you can incorporate some elements or practices so that you can create that for yourself. So the first thing I want to mention is ensuring that you have adequate natural lighting and airflow. Maximizing natural light by opening your curtains or raising the blinds during the day. Ensure you have good airflow by opening your windows. If you live in a colder environment, you know that first spring day where it's warm enough to open the windows, when you do that, airflow that comes in, you can smell it, you can taste it, you can feel it. Like it changes the internal environment of your home. But we don't have to wait for a warm spring day to do that. 2-3 times a week, just opening a window or two to just let some fresh air in. Maybe that's just at your kitchen sink, doing the morning dishes or the evening dishes. Open up the window and just take a minute and acknowledge that you're creating airflow. Light and air are two essentials to survival, right? That's how important they are. So ensuring that you have that light and airflow in your home is also essential to ensuring survival of your well-being. Okay. When you think of it that way, you realize how essential it is. The other thing I want you to do to create a more calming environment is decluttering. I'm not going to get deep into this now. I just did an entire series on decluttering. You can go back and take a listen to that. It was done in March. But it is worth repeating that decluttering is key to creating a calm environment. I just mentioned how I'm still decluttering. I've been decluttering for almost a year now. And I have now all these boxes around me. And even though a lot of them are holding things that I still need or want, I don't have the proper storage for what's inside of them. So the boxes and their contents are creating this sense of restriction. I feel like I can't move. I feel like I don't know where to start. This is really the triggers that decluttering brings up. But it's important to remember, again, opening the windows in the spring, we don't have to wait for spring to clean out the garage or do some big decluttering project. Decluttering is something that should be done routinely. And of course, there's always the big decluttering projects too, attics, basements, garages, right? But decluttering in general, just going through the papers once a week, cleaning out your fridge once a week. There are smaller ways to declutter to keep the energy moving. And, one of the biggest ones, I talked about this in the workshop, is cleaning off your counters. I know for me personally, the kitchen island, that becomes a dumping station for everybody's stuff. And it drives me insane. I'm not going to lie. I mean, some of the stuff is mine, right? I'm also guilty of it. But whenever that island is cleared off, I just internally and immediately feel better. So it's worth repeating over and over to constantly be in a state of decluttering. Another way you can create that calming environment is by incorporating soft textures. So plush rugs, cozy blankets, comfortable cushions, right? All of this adds warmth and comfort to your home. These are characteristic of that earth element. You can choose neutral tones to include more of that earthy element. But you can also choose calming colors like soft blues and greens, right? Those help promote that sense of relaxation. But cozy blankets are huge in my home. And we actually all fight over one in particular, but having texture in the home is what softens a room. This is what all great designers do, is they know how to add that soft layer of texture to a finished space. So materials that I recommend to create that: faux furs, velvets, plush rugs, right? These are all great. Next, you can bring nature indoors by adding houseplants, right? Plants don't only improve air quality, they also have a calming effect on our nervous system and it helps reduce stress levels. I love tending to plants because they too are also living, breathing species. They need those essentials. They need water, sunlight, and food to survive, right? Your plant's health condition is a good indicator of your own. This is another way in which your home can speak to you. I'll hear a lot of people say, "Oh, I can't keep a plant alive," right? And I find most times when I hear that, that is usually some indicator of how well they are taking care of themselves. So if you're looking to take better care of yourself, maybe you're starting a new health routine or you just want to eat better, buy a plant. Buy a plant to kind of be your supportive companion as you begin that process. Um, are you drinking enough water? Are you getting enough sunlight? Do you have adequate airflow? So plants are a great way to experience that sense of calm and peace and home while also offering connection to yourself. And another way to experience calm and peace at home is by using scent, using essential oils, candles, anything calming like a lavender, chamomile, eucalyptus, right? All of those create a really soothing environment. One thing I like to do is light an incense stick when I come home. There's something really cleansing about that. It's like I'm able to clear my energy before walking fully into my home. It's like this invitation to reset my own energy, the energy from the outside world, whether I'm coming home from a client meeting, I'm coming home from, the grocery store, like just it's stressful out there in the world. And so when I cross the threshold into my own home, I want to clear that space. So placing some incense at an entry table, as you walk through the front door, just taking 20 seconds to pause, take a breath, and just clear that energy is a great way to establish that sense of peace and calm right at the front door. Next, I always suggest that you opt for soft, warm lighting rather than harsh, bright white lighting. The light is so white that it's almost blue. And there's definitely areas of the home that do require that, like maybe a laundry room, a garage, okay? But for most of the home, including kitchens and bathrooms, warm lighting is just a better option when we are trying to trigger an emotional state, when we want to experience safety, calm, and peace. To me, there's just something so jarring about that kind of bright light that instantly makes me, I don't know, sort of like on edge or alert. I just don't like that bright white light. So next, you can also create quiet areas in your home, right? I call these resting spaces. These are areas where you can find that simple sense of peace, like having the incense at the entry table, but also where you can sort of relax and unwind, maybe recharge. The bedroom is a great area for this. Maybe you want to create a reading nook or carve out a corner of a room for meditation space or just a space for quiet contemplation. Again, this doesn't have to be like a whole room or even a corner of a room. It doesn't have to be anything specially carved out to create this space. I call this sacred spaces. I've done many episodes on this topic before, but it could simply be a window. Maybe it's your kitchen window while you're doing dishes. It could be a window that you pass by that has a nice view of you or your neighbor's landscaping. This could be a table, the entry table, again, like lighting that incense, or maybe you have a crystal or you have a book. It could be your nightstand. It could be something on your bathroom vanity. Whatever resonates for you, wherever you feel like you can let your gaze rest on that window, that table, that vanity top, it's creating a sacred space and simply having a mindful moment all throughout your day and all throughout your home. Another suggestion I have for you is having soft background music or sounds playing throughout your home. This is a really great way to create a very gentle and serene environment. You can experiment with different playlists or other ambient sounds like, rain or ocean waves or birds, like nature elements. Find what really works for you. I mean, I've started incorporating sound in my home a few years ago, and it's really been a game changer. And I have a playlist on Spotify, the Elemental playlist. If you're interested in starting with that, I'm happy to share that. I'll link to it in the show notes. But I have different playlists for different energy that I want to invoke in my space. So I might have some meditative music if I'm feeling a little, moody and it's raining outside and I'm just sort of either, reading or I'm just doing small tasks around the home. But other times I have, like a cafe lo-fi. I'll have that playing in the background while I'm working. It's a little more upbeat and energized. And when I'm cleaning, I'll play like an upbeat contemporary, like electronic or dance music. So be playful with this and experiment some other music that maybe you haven't really listened to before. And I'll definitely drop the link to that Elemental playlist. It might help pique your interest a little bit and give you something new to start with. And lastly, add some personal touches to your home. Surround yourself with meaningful items can really enhance your sense of well-being, and it makes your home more inviting for you and comfortable. Large coffee table books are really popular now. Those could be inspiring. They could be hobbies or interests, travel books, places that you want to travel to, or maybe you have been to. Of course, incorporating photos of your family and your friends, outings that you've done. Um, Art, of course, of all kinds, whatever speaks to you is definitely something to be hanging up. And other decorative objects, that are unique and soulful and just connect with you on a different level. That's really the goal of my online store, Shop Elemental, is to offer those sort of elements for the home. Maybe having a bowl of the mala beads draped over those inspiring books on your coffee table. That's going to remind you to sort of reconnect with your spirit and your creativity while relaxing and home. Having a pair of rose quartz crystals or a pink calcite dainty dish on the nightstand reminds you to practice self-love or connect with your partner before drifting to sleep. There's many ways to incorporate personalized touches. And the important thing here is to ensure that what you are bringing into your home or placing inside your home is done with intention and serves a purpose, right? Whether it's a functional purpose or even an emotional one. The tagline for Shop Elemental is bringing spirit home, right? It's a great reminder when purchasing items too. You can ask, do I connect with this item? How can this item serve me? This is how we shift our mindset into making more mindful purchases, becoming a more conscious consumer. That's really my vision for Shop Elemental, is that everything in the shop has a purpose. It has an intention behind it. So go ahead and check that out if you're interested in exploring some more. So those are some ways to incorporate a sense of calm, a sense of comfort into your home. Again, we are dealing with so much out there in the world today. It is more important than ever to have a space for rest, relaxation, rejuvenation, a place that supports our healing. So many of us on the planet are doing healing work right now. It's incredible. And healing work requires safety. And so we have to create that space. Again, it's the only space that we can control. We don't only create physical or environmental space, we create mental space, we create healing space. And so I hope that you do just that. Let me know which of these you're going to implement. If not all of them, you can tag me on social media at Jade Scott Design. You can always reach out to me via email, jsd@jadescottdesign.com. And if you need some help implementing some of these tools or want to go a little bit deeper into the work A mind, body, home alignment session might be just what you need. There's a link to connect with me to discuss that in further detail. Until next week, I am sending you so much love and gratitude. Thank you so much for tuning in every single week. Jade Scott Design is a home and lifestyle brand aimed to support and balance mind, body, and home. Be sure to check out our website, jadescottdesign.club, to explore services such as mind, body, home alignment coaching and elemental interior decorating. You can also view home decor products in the shop, all of which are intended to help you bring spirit home. As we begin to expand our services and offerings, please ensure you are on our mailing list to receive exciting news and updates as they develop. You can find a sign up on our homepage or my link in bio in the show notes. We'll be releasing guest interviews for our summer series, in addition to launching new shop items, our YouTube channel, and expansion into wellness travel services. More to come on that. In the meantime, please support this podcast by following on your preferred streaming platform, leaving us a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube, and of course, sharing it with your friends and family. Thank you again for your ongoing support.